What's going on, guys? Murph's YT13 here, and we are back with another Monday Night Raw review. We'll get straight into it. This show, perhaps a little bit disappointing. A couple of things that got on my nerves and are continuing to get on my nerves. It seems to be a common thread, but we kicked off the show with John Cena, and again, we didn't kick it off with an authority promo. Thank God for that, because I am so sick of that. I'm so sick of the same thing each and every week. And while the show started pretty promisingly, you know, it sort of lagged, and then we sort of peaked at the end with a brilliant main event between Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. But we started with a John Cena US Open title challenge, US Open challenge, the title challenge, the thing that John Cena does. And it was answered by a trombone playing his music, which signals only one thing, and that is the best faction since the NWO. I know that's a stretch, and I'm obviously joking, but Xavier Woods came down. He accepted the challenge after they had a little bit of promo time and all that sort of thing. The match itself, really pretty solid, but I think it's pretty clear that Xavier Woods is the least talented in ring, and I stress in ring, than the whole three of them, but we all knew that. But it was very, very smart of the WWE to present Woods as a legitimate challenger and give him some validity. It just sort of shows, I guess, that they want this faction to be strong, putting them up against Cena. And it just shows, you know, that the Dudley Boys, once the Dudley Boys take the titles off these guys, which is what I think is going to happen, once they take the titles off these guys, they do have a future outside of being the tag champions. I really do believe that. But this was a good match. John Cena won by disqualification after Kofi and Big E came down and interrupted the match. But it was good. I thought it was a really good start to the show. And always, it's better than an authority promo or a Seth Rollins promo or something like that. However, in the kerfuffle, we had another moment where this sort of, I don't know, this really predictable sort of stuff is happening at the moment. As soon as you see 6 people facing off or a pull-apart brawl, inevitably when you come back from the break, there's going to be a 6-man tag match or a tag match, or, oh, so you guys just happen to be down there. Let's fill another 30 minutes on the show with the same guys. So this to me was a little bit, I don't know, I mean, we'd just seen Xavier Woods and John Cena have a pretty good match. I don't need to see them again. I know it's good to see the Dudleys and all that sort of thing. I just really don't need to see them go again. But, however, you know, the New Day got the win, which again is really, really smart. And the match itself, it was okay. There wasn't a ton of standout action, and it was really just a means to get the Dudley Boys on the show. And I understand it. It all makes sense. It's fine. And yeah, I mean, the Dudleys, they've had a good. I think they've been almost put on the back burners as chasing the New Day, which, you know, I like that because it's promoting the new guys, but they almost seem like an afterthought. For me, it just seems a little bit weird. It feels weird, it feels off, and I hope, though, that this ends up in like a TLC match or something of that description eventually for the titles, because that's, you know, where the Dudleys really shine. Up after that, we had Big Show versus Mark Henry. This was a squash. The Big Show absolutely whipped Mark Henry's ass, and, you know, it's really, really hard to sell the Big Show as a legit Brock Lesnar threat, you know, because they assume that we forget that the Big Show had his ass absolutely handed to him by Brock Lesnar in 2014 at the Royal Rumble. And so how are we meant to... We have seen this guy cry on national TV, yet we are supposed to believe that the Big Show can knock off Brock Lesnar. And I know the WWE is the best at it in the world. They're the best at it in the world in entertainment. Their video packages are phenomenal. If you had just come in and you are a neutral fan and you saw that video package of the Big Show and Brock Lesnar, you would say, wow, Big Show's a fucking badass. But if you know what we know as legitimate fans who watch every single week, we know that Big Show hasn't been booked right for the last 10 years. And they just pick out the best parts to put it in a promo package. But anyway, you know, beating Mark Henry. Mark Henry, I mean, who's he been beaten by? He's been beaten by everybody. So beating Mark Henry doesn't mean shit either. So I just don't buy this whole Big Show Brock Lesnar thing. I know it's a house show and they're trying to sell some subscriptions to the network and whatnot, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Anyway, we'll move on. Miz TV with Charlotte and Becky Lynch was up next. I thought this was okay. I saw a few people sort of crapped on it on the internet, but I thought it was okay. And I think the WWE, they've really been talking about the Revolution a lot, but they haven't actually been showing us the Revolution. That, you know, just because you ram something down our throats and tell us every week, this is important, this is important, this is important, doesn't make it important at all. And we saw Charlotte. I thought she was actually quite impressive on the microphone. I really enjoyed her promo. And I think once you hear Nikki Bella talk, you realise just how much better Charlotte is, both in-ring and on the mic. And it just makes it's so refreshing to see a woman who can talk and can be confident and dominant and not have to use sex appeal or, you know, tiny little shorts and deep cleavage and things like that to be legitimate or to get eyes on the women. And when she was saying, it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about the fans taking us seriously, I thought that was the line of the night. Absolutely fantastic. But anyway, after that confrontation, what happened? There was six people in the ring. Oh, okay. Let's have a six-man tag match again. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But we had Team Bella versus PCB. This was I didn't like it. And you know, the commentary for one was really, really annoying. It felt like the announcers were arguing. They weren't calling the action. It took my mind off what was going on in the match. And, you know, it makes zero sense that Becky Lynch and Charlotte would trust Paige. Why on earth would they just say, oh, you know what? Even though you publicly dissed us last week, you publicly said we mean nothing. She told Becky Lynch that she is not relevant in the Divas division. She told Charlotte she's only there because of her dad. Yet, okay, you know what? We'll tag with you. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's so lazy. It's so lazy. However, I did like that Natty came down and sort of got in Paige's face, but there was no real confrontation. She just walked past. It makes Natty look stupid. I thought the whole thing was ridiculous. But anyway, we move on. We've got the Primetime Players versus Luke Harper and Braun Strowman. Is it Strowman or is it Stoneman? I've heard people say all kinds of different things. But anyway, this was basically a squash match. And I thought it was really effective because it really showcased how dangerous Strowman, Stoneman, whatever you want to call him, and Harper are. And they work really well as a tag team. They can dominate this division. And I really hope that we eventually see the Dudleys versus the Wyatts. And I would love to also see, though, before we get that, and I've heard it sort of, the rumour mill's been running wild, that Spike Dudley may be coming back to get in the face of Xavier Woods and even up the odds. I would love to see that as well. I would like to see the Dudleys versus the Wyatts 3-on-3 with Spike Dudley. If he still goes, I don't know. I think, you know, he might be doing other things. But, yeah, this was good. It's not a classic by any means, but it was a good, decisive winner and a good, strong win for the Wyatts, keeping them strong, keeping Braun Strowman strong, and that's what it's all about. He's been debuted the best out of anyone for a long time. After that, we had Neville versus Stardust. Now, this was brief, and they barely got going, and we saw the return of Barrett, and he looks good. And he really, really looks good, and he doesn't have that stupid scepter and that sort of thing. I was really hoping they would ditch the King stuff. I think it's just, it's so bad. It's so bad. I mean, what do they say? You know, you're British, you're a king. I mean, the guy's not even from London. He's from Manchester. You know, he's a fighter. He's got a legit fighting background, and they portray him as a fucking king. This guy is badass. He's awesome on the mic. When I saw this guy live in Melbourne, he cut the most brilliant promo on Australia. This guy can take relevant news. He was talking to us because he knows that Australians love their sport. He knows we're passionate about it. So he hit on rugby. He hit on cricket. He even hit on some AFL. He even hit on some NRL. You know, this guy, all you have to do is pick up a paper and you can get heat in any town. And this guy got the most heat of anyone since JBL that I have ever seen in Australia. And JBL, just so I can let you know, I think JBL was one of the best heels of all time. Absolutely extraordinary as well. And that's who Barrett feels like he could be booked like. He could be a JBL type guy because he can get heat in any building. He's a really hateable guy. He's arrogant, but he can back it up in the ring. And I think they're really missing the boat with Barrett for me. And, you know, I like the fact that he came in, he cleaned house, but now I think it's important to leave these two alone and move on. Come out and clean house in another one. Come out and get in Kevin Owens' face. Come out and get in Ryback's face. Come out and get in John Cena's face, you know. Come out and go for it. Go for a title that I know he's already been Intercontinental Champion, but I feel like the Intercontinental title is creeping up towards a little bit more relevancy. I would like to see Bad News Barrett be portrayed like he looks. He looks like a badass, and he needs to be portrayed as a badass. But that's my little rant on Bad News Barrett. I think he's unbelievable. Cut the bad news shit. Cut the king shit. And call him Wade Barrett. And when he was in Nexus, he was the guy. He was the handpicked guy. And he should be one of the biggest stars in the company. But he's just not, because I don't know. What, is he English so he can't connect? I don't know. But anyway, moving on. Kane came out with Ashley, I think her name was, for his performance evaluation. Let me just say, this is all such bullshit. Kane being in the world title picture makes me physically sick. I cannot believe that still in 2015 they think we can. They think we see Kane as a monster. We don't. We've seen it all before. It doesn't. We just don't care. This whole show, up until this point, had pissed me off in one way or another. And I'm not saying that I could do a better job or I have better ideas. I'm just saying that you pay the writers and you take our money. I pay for the network every month. I buy, you know, certain things from the WWE, you know, I buy t-shirts and things like that. Give me something new. Give me something fresh. It all feels like the Daniel Bryan story all over again. Coming out of the back of the ambulance. Coming out of this shit. Fucking coming up out of the ring. I mean, absolutely unbelievable. We don't buy this shit in 2015. Nobody cares about Kane. Nobody cares about this angle, and therefore nobody cares about Seth Rollins, and therefore nobody cares about the WWE Champion. So where does that get us? And for another thing, you know, Seth Rollins, I think he got pinned on SmackDown. This guy is a fucking loser. So why should we care that he's the world champion? It's unbelievable. After that, anyway, we got Bo Dallas versus Randy Orton. Randy Orton squashed him. It was all right. It was fine. But again, you know, who cares? We're just treading water here, and it's, you know, Orton. You know, where are they going with Orton? He talked about battling the Wyatt family, but he wasn't involved at all in anything with the Wyatt family. So, you know, he needs to find something a little bit better, or you know, I don't know. Maybe Randy Orton, would he ever go for the Intercontinental Championship? I know I keep bringing it up. Would Randy Orton ever go for the Intercontinental title? I don't know. I mean, something. Go for the US title against Cena. I mean, yeah, but fuck, we don't want to see that again either. So, come up with something for Randy Orton. Bring someone in, or you know, something fresh. You know, maybe fucking put Bo Dallas over, and try and elevate someone else. I mean, Randy Orton's Teflon. He's not going to go anywhere. Anyway, after that, we got my boy Kevin Owens versus Rusev, and this was another wasted opportunity. Another wasted opportunity, and I'm sorry, guys, that this is such a negative review. And but what else do you want me to say? This lasted 5 seconds, and we got We got Kevin Owens throwing the old, I'll throw you into my fucking rival, and then we'll all fight. And then the guy that I was just fighting, I will fight with. And then Dolph Ziggler comes down. So it does nothing to advance anything. It does, okay. Maybe it built a little bit of animosity between Kevin Owens and Ryback. But surely we can cut that fucking Kane segment in half and give these guys a match or something. Give them some promo time. What happened? What happened to that? What happened to a promo battle? I know we had one like a week ago, whatever. What happened to just facing off or to telling a story, making me care? It's dead. It's dead in the water. Anyway, after that little, whatever that was, the little segment that didn't advance anybody and didn't make me any more excited for any matches coming up, we had Paul Heyman. Hallelujah. We've got Paul Heyman cutting a promo, and it's going absolutely fantastically. I'm getting excited. I love listening to Paul Heyman. It's absolutely fantastic. And then, well, it's the big show. And I don't care anymore. They should have let Heyman talk. They should have let him sell it. Because he can do more for the big show with his lips and his voice box than what the WWE writers can do with the big show. Paul Heyman could get the big show to a point where people cared about him again just by talking. But instead, they insisted they had to bring the big show out there, and Heyman should have been the lead salesman for this match. Let Paul Heyman save the match. He's done it before. He'll do it again. He was on a roll. And he says the same thing every week, but he delivers it with such conviction. You believe this guy. You believe that his client, Brock Lesnar, could kill anyone. Because he can. And that's all you have to sell the match on. Is that Brock Lesnar can kill anyone. And he can kill the Big Show. But he was also putting the Big Show over. He was saying that when the Big Show is motivated, he's a threat. And when he really wants to get involved, and when he's angry, he can beat anyone. And now all of a sudden, what happens? When you start to tell a story, you start to care. And that's what happened here. I started to care, and then I saw the Big Show. I saw him again, and I thought to myself, well, I just saw this guy against Mark Henry. And yeah, he dominated Mark Henry, but who hasn't? So putting him in there with Heyman, it didn't add anything. You need Heyman to cut a promo to save the match. Anyway, moving on from there, we then had Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns, and thank God they had some time. And these guys, I must say, they tore it down. Everything from the mic work to the match to the finish to everything. Absolutely fantastic. Double count out. Only way you can end it, because it doesn't end. It's telling a story. It's saying these guys can't settle it. They can't settle it, so what are they going to have to do? I don't know. Let's have a big gimmick match. Hell in a Cell's coming up. Or, let's say, what they're doing here is they are telling a story. And it's what I've been talking about this whole review, which hasn't really been a review, it's been a rant. But this is what I'm talking about. We need to tell stories. People care about this because they've protected it. They haven't overexposed it. They haven't traded wins and losses directly with each other. It's been convoluted. They've been able to protect this singles match. And that's what they need to do. Protect it, and we'll care about it. Don't shove it in our face every single week. So that's going to do it, guys, for this review. I'm not going to go through the match. There was too much that happened. I just thought it was absolutely fantastic. And these guys have managed to steal the show, which isn't a really hard task at the moment because there's so much fucking rubbish on the show. And as I said, that's going to do it for the review. And I'm really sorry that this was such a negative review this week, guys, but let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. Am I being unreasonable? Am I being a bad fan for not enjoying the show at the moment? And, You know, it's a labour. It is honestly a labour to watch. But I love reviewing it and I love venting because I love talking to you guys about wrestling. And I love wrestling. But I'm really, really struggling with the WWE at the moment. If you agree, please just let me know in the comments below if you agree with me. Please, please tell me that I'm not the only one that is really disappointed by what's going on. But anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, guys, make sure you drop a like. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're new. And from YT13, as always, I'll catch you on the next one. And hopefully it's a little bit better.